guys, it's LEGOmatic 9, and today I'd like to show you guys my custom LEGO Iron Throne, along with the Iron Throne Room or the Red Keep from Game of Thrones. Now, it's been a bit since my last video, which I do apologize for. I started an internship right after my last video went up, which has been going great so far, but it just means I have far less free time to work on figures for you guys. But I do have this really cool MOC to show you guys, so let's go ahead and take a better look at it. So if you guys ever saw me at Brick Fair over the past few years, I used to bring little display cases that had little environments for my custom LEGO minifigures. And those environments would just relate to the media I got them from. So like for Breaking Bad, I made a little desert. For Walking Dead, I made a little prison MOC. For Star Wars, I made planet landscapes. And most recently for the Beatles, I made Abbey Road. Now for Game of Thrones, I wanted to make something similar, so I thought doing the Throne Room or the Red Keep, whatever you want to call it, was the most appropriate. Now before we get started, I gotta say, I'm not a great builder, alright? Whenever I build custom things like this, I usually try to replicate somebody else's design just because I know it looks good, I know how it's going to turn out, and I want good looking things on my shelf. And I'm not going to waste my time trying to build it myself when I know it's probably going to be bad. So this MOC is no exception. I based the main design of this build off of a guy on Flickr named Nick Schumann. He made a great looking Iron Throne Room that looks just like this, but I did do some tweaking to make it a little more unique, I guess. It's not a complete copy, but it's still pretty damn similar. Then the design at the back for the star back there was done by a YouTuber named Tusserte. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but both of the links to both of them will be down in the description, so you guys can go ahead and check out their MOCs and see if you like those. Tusserte made the entire throne room, whereas Nick kind of just did the same thing as this. I think he had it more extended out a little bit, but Tusserte made the whole thing. So if you guys want to check those out, links will be in the description. I cleared the figures out so we can take a better look at the MOC itself. So I'll go ahead and give this thing a 360-degree turn so you guys can just see it from all angles in case you're wanting to replicate it yourself. It's a fairly simple design overall, but it definitely looks like the throne room. The back here is kind of messy, but it is a diorama. You're not going to be viewing it from the back. This is going to be up against the wall, so it doesn't really bother me at all. Now, this thing is pretty empty. I plan on having, I don't know how many I got right now. I think I have 11 Game of Thrones figures right now, and I plan on having at least 15 more within by the end of the year at least. Because right now I'm wanting to just finish all of my Game of Thrones figures that I ever want to make, just because I don't know when I'll be in a Game of Thrones kick ever again, and I want to have these figures for this display. So I'm wanting to get it done now, so then I can focus on Star Wars and stuff towards the end of the year. Now, back onto the MOC here. This thing is pretty simple, like I said. It's mainly just tiles and bricks. I have this black trim going around the edges here. You're just using some 45-degree slopes. It's just a nice aesthetic I like putting on my MOCs. I've got that on my Abbey Road, and then I also have that on my General Grievous display that I have. I don't think I've showed that anywhere, but I'll show it in like a room tour or whatever. I do have these hinges exposed down here, and that's because I do want to get a 2x4 tile with the Game of Thrones logo printed on it to put right there. I've got something similar for Abbey Road. I've just got the actual cover printed on there, but I think it would be really cool to just have the title sequence logo right there. So I'll get that printed here sometime soon, but for now, we just have those hinges exposed. Now, onto the MOC, we just got these two pillars set up right here. If we move closer in, we have the steps leading up to that main platform right here, which is where the bulk of the figures I imagine will go if they're not grouped down here on this first level. So we've got 3 steps leading up to that, and then we have 3 more steps leading up to the actual throne itself, which again is entirely custom made. And I'll get to that in a second. I just want to spend time just going over the actual MOC before I get into that. In the back here we have 2 smaller pillars, and then we also have just some torches lighting up the scene. And then in the back there we have the 7-pointed star, and that is made using flex tubes, some claws, some clips, some spears, and then also some Brick Arms U-clips. Those came in handy very much, connecting these tubes that I have bent around like this to this main tube running down both sides was just so helpful. And I only had 4 in black, so it worked out pretty perfectly there. But like I said, the main design of this throne room was done by Nick Schumann, which will have the link in the description, along with the guy that did the 7-pointed star in the back, which is Tusserte. So again, check them out if you guys want to see their MOCs. They're just wonderful. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Iron Throne in a little more detail. The Iron Throne is the thing I'm most proud of out of this entire build, mainly just because it is actually all my design. Now, this thing was custom made. I wanted to try a brick build design first, but it was just proven so difficult, so I decided to just cheat and ended up just gluing, I think, close to 50 Lego swords to a Lego base, painted it up, and called it a day. Just because I didn't think brick building one would just be possible to get the shape right, and I really wanted an accurate looking throne for this. So if we look on it head on, I think I nailed just the silhouette of this thing very nice. So like I said, I used a Lego base. If I show you guys the bottom of that, there are some Lego parts on the bottom there that I did use. If we turn it around, you guys can just see some of the parts in there. I used a brick arm sword, actually, a claymore, and then a monopod for the back here, mainly just because I needed that height. So there's just the back there. In case you want to replicate this, you guys can just look at this from all these different angles I'm showing, because I can't take this thing apart. I would love to give instructions out there just because I think this is a really good looking Iron Throne, but making instructions for this thing is impossible. So don't even ask me, just because I can't do it. I'm telling you guys now, I can't do that. But I really like the metallic finish on this. I painted it in a gunmetal color and then washed it in black just to give it that worn look, and I think it looks really nice. So here is the front again. We'll bring in some minifigs here just to get some size comparison. Here it is next to Daenerys. So as you guys can see, this thing it's pretty big. All right, it might be a little too big. I don't really know. I was kind of just throwing swords in there to get the shape right, so it is kind of big, but it's the best I could do for this scale. Now, I would love to put some figures in this throne, but all of my custom Game of Thrones figures have waist capes or something where I can't bend the legs anymore, so we'll go ahead and do the next best thing. Go ahead and take Boromir from Lord of the Rings and put him in the throne there. So it's not a bad look at all. It does, it looks kind of big, but it works. It works. It's passable as the Iron Throne. So you can just take it, plug it in up there, and then you get something that looks like this. Not too bad. I really wish I could actually put one of my Game of Thrones figures in the throne, but I just can't because they can't move their legs anymore. But I do plan on making a Robert Baratheon that has a separate pair of legs that will make him be able to sit in this throne, because, damn it, I'm going to have Bobby B in this throne. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything else to show you guys. So let's go ahead and get these figures back in here real quick so you guys can see this MOC one last time. Real quick, if you're interested, here's a little teaser on 2 figures I'm working on for part 3 of my custom Game of Thrones minifigures. I have, I think, 5 more after these 2 to work on for that part, and hopefully I'll be able to finish them up here pretty soon. But let's go ahead and finish off this video. Overall, I'm extremely happy with how this MOC turned out. I put so much love and effort into each and every one of my custom Game of Thrones figures, so I wanted a diorama piece that made them all look their best, and that's what I think I achieved with this MOC. Now, the majority of the credit for the design of this MOC goes to Nick and Tusserte for just the overall design of it, so please go check them out. Links will be in the description to their respective MOCs. Please go give them some more recognition, because they just did fantastic work, and I'm glad I could replicate that in some way. Now, like I said earlier, I will be continuing on with my custom Game of Thrones minifigure series. I just want to get those out of the way now while I'm still in a Game of Thrones mood. And I don't really have any other projects that I want to be working on at this very instant. Yes, I do have the Clone Wars that I want to be working on, but for the first part of that, I'm collaborating on a minifigure with Jerdfigs, and he hasn't even started it yet, so it's not like I'm in some big rush to get those guys finished here anytime soon. I will have them done by the time the Clone Wars comes out. They'll be done by then, but I'm just saying for now, I'm just filling the gap with some Game of Thrones figures, because I want to fill this diorama up and make my $100 worth it. But the next part should have Davos, Tormund, Bran, Brienne, Beric, Jorah, and I think Podrick was on that list, and I think that was it for that part. And then I have, I think, 2 more parts planned, and then that'll be it. I also will be making a Mysterio from Spider-Man Far From Home, so expect that here in the next few weeks. And then if you guys want a collection update, I'd be happy to do one. The last one didn't do so well, so I haven't really been doing them anymore. But if you guys are interested in that, please let me know down in the comments. Other than that, if you guys have any other suggestions you'd like to see me do videos of, please let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.